Ladies and gentlemen, today we embark on a transformative journey into the very core of human potential, the mind. It is the seat of thought, the birthplace of dreams, and the engine of every decision that shapes our lives. Yet, the mind is also a battlefield where habits, beliefs, and experiences clash, often leaving us trapped in patterns that limit us. But what if I told you there is a strategy, a powerful, life-changing strategy that can reprogram your mind and unlock the greatness within? It's not a secret or a mystery, it is a process, a discipline, and it holds the key to your future. To understand this strategy, we must first confront a fundamental truth: your life is a reflection of your thoughts. Everything you are today, every success, every failure, every fear, and every triumph began in the mind. Thoughts are the seeds of action, and action determines destiny. If your mind is filled with doubt, negativity, and fear, those seeds will grow into a life of stagnation and regret. But if your mind is cultivated with hope, belief, and vision, it will produce a life of fulfillment and impact. This is why reprogramming the mind is not just an option, it is a necessity. The most powerful strategy to reprogram your mind begins with one word: awareness. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. Many of us are prisoners of thoughts. We are not even aware of negative beliefs passed down from others, fears rooted in past failures, or doubts planted by a culture that tells us we're not enough. Awareness is the act of stepping back and observing your thoughts without judgment. It is shining a light into the dark corners of your mind and asking, why do I think this? Where did this belief come from? Is it serving me or is it holding me back? Awareness is the first step, because you cannot reprogram a mind you refuse to examine. Once you are aware, the next step is intentional input. The mind is like a sponge; it absorbs whatever it is exposed to. The words you hear, the images you see, and the people you surround yourself with all shape your mental programming. If you want to reprogram your mind, you must take control of what you feed it. Replace the noise of negativity with the sound of inspiration. Fill your environment with affirmations that reinforce your potential. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow and remind you of your worth. Intentional input is not just about avoiding negativity, it's about actively seeking out the ideas, voices, and truths that align with the person you are becoming. The third element of this strategy is repetition. Reprogramming the mind is not a one-time event, it is a daily discipline. The mind learns through repetition, and this principle works both for and against us. Every time you repeat a thought, it becomes more deeply ingrained, like a path worn into the ground by constant travel. To reprogram your mind, you must consciously and consistently replace the old, limiting thoughts with new, empowering ones. Speak affirmations aloud every day. Visualize your goals with clarity and emotion. Meditate on truths that inspire and uplift you. Repetition turns new thoughts into habits and habits into a lifestyle. But repetition alone is not enough. For this strategy to work, it requires a fourth ingredient: emotion. The mind is not just a rational processor, it is deeply influenced by emotion. If your thoughts are accompanied by fear or doubt, they will shape your mind in that direction. But if your thoughts are charged with passion, faith, and conviction, they will reprogram your mind for success. When you visualize your dreams, feel the joy of achieving them. When you speak affirmations, believe them with your whole heart. Emotion is the energy that makes thoughts powerful, and it is the force that drives transformation. Another critical component of this strategy is action. Thoughts alone will not change your life, they must lead to action. When you align your actions with the thoughts you are cultivating, you reinforce those thoughts and make them real. Every small step you take toward your goal sends a signal to your mind: this is who I am. This is what I do. Action builds momentum, and momentum solidifies change. Even when you don't feel ready, act. Even when doubt whispers in your ear, act. Action turns belief into reality and transforms potential into progress. Reprogramming the mind also requires patience. The patterns you are working to change were not formed overnight, and they will not be replaced overnight. Be patient with yourself as you navigate this process. There will be setbacks, moments when the old thoughts resurface and tempt you to give up. But remember this: every effort you make to reprogram your mind is a step toward freedom. Be persistent, be consistent, be consistent. And trust that change is happening even when it feels slow. Another powerful element of this strategy is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present. It rewires your mind to see possibilities instead of problems. When you practice gratitude daily, you train your mind to recognize the good in every situation. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means approaching them with a mindset that says, even in this, there is something to learn, something to gain. Gratitude creates a positive cycle of thought, and positivity breeds resilience and creativity. Finally, the most important part of this strategy is alignment with your purpose. The mind is most powerful when it is focused on a purpose greater than itself. Reprogramming your mind is not just about achieving personal success. It is about aligning your thoughts with your calling. When your mind is anchored in purpose, it gains clarity, direction, and strength. Purpose gives meaning to every challenge, every effort, and every success. It turns the process of reprogramming into a mission, a journey that is as fulfilling as the destination. Ladies and gentlemen, the most powerful strategy to reprogram your mind is not a quick fix or a magic formula. It is a deliberate, disciplined process that begins with awareness, thrives on intentional input and repetition, and is fueled by emotion, action, patience, gratitude, and purpose. Your mind is a tool of extraordinary potential, but it will only serve you as well as you train it. The question is not whether you can reprogram your mind. The question is whether you are willing to take responsibility for the thoughts that shape your life. Change your mind, and you will change your world. The power is in your hands. Awareness is the foundation of all transformation, the bedrock upon which every meaningful change in life begins. It is the starting point for growth, the moment when we pause, reflect, and truly see things as they are. Without awareness, we are like a ship adrift on an endless ocean, moved by currents we cannot see and directed by forces we do not understand. Awareness is the light that cuts through the fog, revealing not only where we are, but also where we have the potential to go. It is the most crucial element in any journey of self-discovery, for without it, we remain blind to the possibilities within us. Awareness is more than simply recognizing the external world. It is about looking inward, into the hidden recesses of the mind and soul. It requires us to confront our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, examining them with honesty and courage. Many of us move through life on autopilot, reacting to circumstances rather than responding with intention. We are shaped by habits, routines, and patterns that often go unnoticed, and yet these unseen forces dictate much of what we do. Awareness breaks this cycle. It is the act of stepping outside the flow of automatic behavior to observe what is happening within and around us. To be aware is to be present. It is to live in the moment with a deep understanding of its significance. Many of us are so consumed by the past or anxious about the future that we miss the reality of the present. Awareness anchors us in the now, allowing us to see clearly and make choices that align with our true values and desires. When we are aware, we gain the power to respond to life rather than merely react to it. This shift from reaction to response is transformative, for it places control back in our hands. Awareness is also about recognizing patterns, those recurring thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that shape our lives. These patterns are often deeply ingrained, formed by years of conditioning and reinforced by repetition. Some patterns serve us well, guiding us toward growth and success, while others hold us back, trapping us in cycles of fear, doubt, and limitation. Without awareness, these patterns operate in the background, influencing our decisions without our conscious consent. Awareness brings them to the surface, making the invisible visible. Once we see these patterns for what they are, we can begin to challenge and change them. This process of becoming aware requires honesty. It demands that we confront truths about ourselves that may be uncomfortable or even painful. It is not easy to acknowledge our fears, insecurities, or mistakes, but it is necessary. Without honesty, awareness becomes superficial, a mere acknowledgement of surface-level issues without delving into their roots. True awareness goes deeper. It requires us to ask difficult questions. Why do I think this way? Where did this belief come from? How is it affecting my life? This level of introspection can be challenging, but it is also liberating. It frees us from the shackles of unconscious living and empowers us to take control of our destiny. Awareness is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice. It is something we must cultivate daily, moment by moment. The mind has a natural tendency to wander, to get caught up in distractions and external noise. Staying aware requires effort and discipline. It means taking the time to pause, breathe, and reflect even in the midst of a busy day. It means paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and actions with curiosity rather than judgment. Awareness is not about perfection, it is about progress. Every small moment of awareness brings us closer to understanding ourselves and our potential. One of the greatest challenges to awareness is the tendency to resist it. There is a part of us that clings to comfort, that prefers the familiarity of old patterns to the uncertainty of change. Awareness disrupts this comfort. It forces us to see things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. This can be unsettling, but it is also necessary. Growth requires discomfort, and awareness is the first step in that process. It is the courage to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, because only through truth can we find freedom. Awareness is also about recognizing the power of choice. Many people go through life believing they are powerless, that their circumstances dictate their reality. Awareness reveals the truth: we always have a choice. We may not choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond. This realization is profound. It shifts the focus from external circumstances to internal power. Awareness empowers us to take responsibility for our lives, to stop blaming others or external factors and start creating the life we want. This sense of responsibility is both humbling and empowering, for it places the control firmly in our hands. Another important aspect of awareness is the ability to observe without judgment. Often when we become aware of a negative thought or behavior, our first instinct is to criticize ourselves. We label ourselves as bad or weak. And this judgment only reinforces the very patterns we are trying to change. True awareness is free of judgment. It is about observing with curiosity and compassion, recognizing that every thought, feeling, and action is part of the human experience. This non-judgmental awareness creates space for growth. It allows us to see clearly without the cloud of self-criticism, and it opens the door to change. Awareness also requires patience. The patterns and beliefs we are working to change did not form overnight, and they will not be replaced overnight. It takes time to cultivate awareness and even more time to act on it. There will be moments of progress and moments of setback, but every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Awareness teaches us to appreciate the journey, to celebrate the process of growth, rather than fixating solely on the outcome. It reminds us that transformation is not a destination, but a continuous unfolding. Awareness is the foundation of all personal growth, but it is also the key to understanding and connecting with others. When we are aware of our own thoughts and emotions, we become better equipped to understand the thoughts and emotions of those around us. This empathy fosters deeper relationships and creates a sense of connection and compassion. Awareness helps us see beyond surface differences, to recognize the shared humanity that binds us all. It is the starting point for building bridges of understanding and creating a more harmonious world. To cultivate awareness, we must be intentional. It does not happen by accident. It requires effort and practice. One of the most effective tools for developing awareness is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your full attention to the present moment, observing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. It is a simple practice, but its effects are profound. Mindfulness trains the mind to stay present, to observe without getting caught up in distractions, and to respond with clarity and purpose. Over time, mindfulness becomes a way of life, a constant state of awareness that transforms how we experience the world. Another powerful tool for cultivating awareness is reflection. Taking time to reflect on your day, your actions, and your thoughts can reveal patterns and insights that might otherwise go unnoticed. Journaling is a particularly effective way to reflect. Writing down your thoughts and experiences helps you process them and gain a deeper understanding of yourself. Reflection allows you to learn from your experiences, to identify areas for growth, and to celebrate your progress. Awareness is not just about changing the mind, it is about transforming the entire being. When we become aware of our thoughts, we also become aware of how they affect our emotions, our actions, and even our physical health. Awareness reveals the interconnectedness of our mind, body, and spirit, and it empowers us to create harmony among them. It teaches us to listen to our intuition, to honor our emotions, and to care for our bodies as vessels of our potential. Ultimately, awareness is a gift. It is the key that unlocks the door to our true selves, the light that guides us through the darkness of uncertainty, and the foundation upon which we build a life of purpose and fulfillment. Awareness is where transformation begins, and it is the catalyst that makes growth possible. It is the most essential element in the journey of becoming who we are meant to be. Without awareness, there is no change, no progress, no awakening. With awareness, everything becomes possible. Intentional input and repetition are the twin engines of transformation, the deliberate forces that shape our minds, habits, and ultimately our lives. Every thought we think, every word we hear, and every experience we encounter leaves an imprint on our minds. Over time, these imprints form patterns that influence our actions, decisions, and perspectives. The power of intentional input and repetition lies in their ability to rewrite these patterns, replacing limiting beliefs and behaviors with those that align with our highest potential. Transformation is not a random event or an accidental occurrence. It is the result of consistent, purposeful effort. By controlling what we allow into our minds and repeating it with persistence, we create the foundation for lasting change. The mind is like fertile soil, ready to nurture whatever seeds are planted within it. Every piece of information we take in, whether through conversations, media, or personal experiences, is a seed that has the potential to grow into a belief or behavior. If we are not intentional about the input we allow, we risk letting weeds take root: negative thoughts, unproductive habits, and limiting beliefs. These weeds choke the potential for growth and keep us stuck in cycles of mediocrity. Intentional input is the act of choosing what seeds we plant. It is a conscious decision to expose ourselves to ideas, information, and influences that uplift, inspire, and align with the person we want to become. Repetition ensures that the seeds we plant take root and grow strong. Just as a single drop of water does not nourish a plant, a single exposure to positive input is not enough to create lasting change. The mind learns through repetition. It is how neural pathways are formed and reinforced. Each time we repeat a thought, action, or behavior, we strengthen the corresponding neural connections in our brain. This is why habits are so powerful. They are the result of repeated actions that have become ingrained in our neural architecture. Repetition transforms new thoughts and behaviors from fleeting moments of inspiration into enduring patterns that shape our reality. Intentional input requires vigilance and discernment. In a world filled with endless distractions and influences, it's easy to be overwhelmed by noise. Social media, television, conversations, and even our own internal dialogue can bombard us with messages that may not serve our growth. To create transformation, we must filter this input, carefully choosing what we allow into our minds. This means surrounding ourselves with people who challenge and inspire us, consuming content that aligns with our goals, and avoiding negativity that drains our energy. Intentional input is not about ignoring reality. It is about focusing on what empowers us to move forward. Repetition amplifies the effects of intentional input. When we expose ourselves to positive messages and ideas consistently, they begin to reshape our beliefs and behaviors. Affirmations are a powerful example of this principle in action. When we repeat affirmation statements that reflect the person we want to become, we reprogram our subconscious mind. At first, these statements may feel unfamiliar or even untrue, but with repetition, they take root. Over time, they become a part of our internal dialogue, replacing doubt and fear with confidence and conviction. This process of repetition rewires the brain, creating new neural pathways that support the changes we are making. The power of repetition is not limited to words, it extends to actions as well. Every time we take an action, we reinforce the belief that supports it. For example, if we want to develop discipline, each act of following through on a commitment strengthens our belief in our own discipline. Repetition creates momentum, and momentum fuels transformation. Even small, consistent actions can lead to significant change when repeated over time. This is why habits are so influential. They are the product of repeated actions that become automatic. By intentionally repeating actions that align with our goals, we build habits that support our transformation. Intentional input and repetition also work to counteract the effects of negative programming. Many of us carry beliefs and habits that were formed through years of unintentional input, negative comments from others, societal expectations, or our own fears and insecurities. These patterns may feel deeply ingrained, but they are not permanent. The same process that created them can be used to replace them. By intentionally choosing positive input and repeating it consistently, we can overwrite the old programming with new, empowering beliefs and behaviors. This process requires patience and persistence, but it is profoundly liberating. The transformative power of intentional input and repetition is evident in the stories of those who have overcome significant challenges. Consider someone who grows up in an environment filled with negativity and doubt. Without intentional input, they might internalize these messages, believing they are incapable of success. But if they choose to surround themselves with positive influences, books, mentors, affirmations, and supportive relationships, they can begin to rewrite their narrative. With repetition, these new inputs become the foundation for a transformed life. This principle applies to every area of life, from personal growth to professional success to relationships. What we focus on and repeat becomes our reality. One of the most compelling aspects of intentional input and repetition is their accessibility. You do not need special resources or circumstances to apply these principles. Anyone at any time can choose to begin this process. It starts with a decision to be intentional about what you allow into your mind and to repeat it consistently. This might mean setting aside time each day to read a book that inspires you, practicing affirmations in front of a mirror, or taking small, deliberate actions toward your goals. These simple practices, when done consistently, have the power to create profound change. The process of intentional input and repetition also fosters resilience. When challenges arise, the patterns we have established through repetition serve as a source of strength. Positive input and repeated actions create a reservoir of mental and emotional resources that help us navigate difficulties with confidence and clarity. This resilience is not the absence of struggle, it is the ability to move through struggle with grace and determination. By intentionally cultivating thoughts and behaviors that empower us, we build the capacity to face adversity without being overwhelmed by it. Transformation through intentional input and repetition is not a linear process. There will be moments of progress and moments of setback, times when the changes feel effortless and times when they feel arduous. This is where persistence becomes essential. The power of repetition lies in its consistency, not its perfection. Every effort, no matter how small, contributes to the overall process. Each time we choose intentional input and repeat it, we are reinforcing the changes we are making. Over time, these small efforts compound, leading to significant transformation. The principle of intentional input and repetition also extends beyond personal growth to influence the environments and relationships around us. When we consistently model positive behaviors and attitudes, we create a ripple effect that impacts those we interact with. This is particularly evident in leadership and mentorship, where the intentional input we provide to others can inspire and empower them to create their own transformation. By being intentional about the energy we bring to our interactions and repeating it consistently, we become catalysts for change, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of others. Ultimately, the process of transformation through intentional input and repetition is an act of creation. It is the deliberate shaping of our thoughts, actions, and identity to align with our highest potential. It is a reminder that we are not passive recipients of our circumstances, but active participants in our destiny. By choosing what we focus on and repeating it consistently, we harness the incredible power of the mind to create a life that reflects our values, goals, and dreams. The journey may not always be easy, but it is always worth it, for it leads to a life of purpose, fulfillment, and growth. Action and emotion are the twin pillars that solidify change, the forces that take transformation from mere intention to tangible reality. While thoughts and beliefs lay the foundation, it is action that builds upon them, emotion that cements them in place. Together, they create a powerful synergy that moves us beyond wishful thinking and into a life of purposeful living. Without action, even the most inspiring thoughts remain dormant, and without emotion, actions lack the energy to drive lasting impact. It is the union of these two forces that transforms potential into achievement and ideas into lasting change. Change begins in the mind, but it must be enacted through our decisions and behaviors. Every action we take is a statement of what we believe, a reflection of our inner state. If we desire transformation, we cannot wait for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances. Action demands urgency. It requires us to move forward even when we feel uncertain or unprepared. It is in the act of doing that we learn, grow, and develop the confidence needed to sustain change. Action is the physical manifestation of our intentions, the visible evidence of the unseen work happening within us. Emotion, on the other hand, is the fuel that powers our actions. It is the spark that ignites our passion, the force that drives us to keep going even when the journey becomes challenging. Emotion gives meaning to our efforts, connecting our actions to a deeper sense of purpose. When we act with emotion, whether it be hope, determination, or love, we amplify the impact of our actions. Emotion transforms routine tasks into meaningful endeavors, infusing them with a sense of urgency and significance that propels us forward. Without emotion, Actions can become hollow, performed out of obligation rather than inspiration. The interplay between action and emotion creates a feedback loop that reinforces change. When we take action, we experience a sense of accomplishment that fuels positive emotions. These emotions in turn motivate us to take further action, creating a cycle of growth and progress. This is why small, consistent actions are so powerful. They generate momentum that builds over time. Each step we take, no matter how small, strengthens our belief in our ability to change. It is through action that we prove to ourselves that transformation is possible, and it is through emotion that we sustain the motivation to continue. One of the most significant barriers to change is the fear of failure. This fear often paralyzes us, preventing us from taking the very actions necessary for growth. Emotion plays a critical role in overcoming this fear. By cultivating emotions like courage and resilience, we equip ourselves to face challenges with confidence. These emotions remind us that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone on the path to success. When we act with courage, we redefine failure as a learning opportunity rather than a setback. Emotion empowers us to move beyond fear and take the risks necessary for meaningful change. This action also serves as a tool for clarifying our emotions. Sometimes we are not fully aware of what we feel until we take action. For example, pursuing a new goal might reveal hidden fears or anxieties, while stepping out of our comfort zone might uncover a sense of excitement or joy. These emotional revelations guide us, helping us refine our intentions and align our actions with our true desires. The act of doing becomes a form of self-discovery, a way of uncovering the emotions that drive us and the beliefs that shape our actions. Repetition of action solidifies new habits and behaviors, embedding them into our daily lives. The first step is often the hardest, but each subsequent step becomes easier as the action becomes familiar. Over time, repeated actions form habits, and habits create a new way of being. Emotion accelerates this process by attaching meaning and significance to our actions. When we associate positive emotions with our efforts, we are more likely to repeat them. For example, the joy of seeing progress toward a goal reinforces the desire to keep going, while the pride of overcoming a challenge strengthens our commitment to change. Conversely, negative emotions can serve as powerful motivators when channeled constructively. Frustration, disappointment, or dissatisfaction with our current circumstances can push us to take action. These emotions act as signals, urging us to address what is not working and seek solutions. The key is to acknowledge these emotions without allowing them to paralyze us. When we channel negative emotions into purposeful action, we transform them into catalysts for growth. They become the driving force that propels us out of stagnation and into progress. Consistency is vital in the relationship between action and emotion. Sporadic efforts yield limited results, but sustained action creates lasting change. Consistency requires discipline, the ability to act even when motivation wanes. Emotion plays a role here as well, providing the inner drive to stay the course. By cultivating emotions like determination and commitment, we reinforce our ability to act consistently. These emotions remind us of the larger purpose behind our efforts, keeping us focused on the end goal, even when the journey feels difficult. The connection between action and emotion is particularly evident in the power of visualization. When we visualize our desired outcome, we evoke the emotions associated with achieving it. This emotional experience strengthens our motivation and makes the goal feel more tangible. Visualization also primes our minds for action, creating a mental rehearsal of the steps we need to take. When combined with deliberate action, visualization becomes a powerful tool for manifesting change. It bridges the gap between intention and reality, turning abstract dreams into concrete achievements. Another crucial aspect of action and emotion is the role they play in overcoming inertia. Change often requires us to disrupt old patterns and step into the unknown. This can feel overwhelming, but action provides a way forward. Taking even a small step breaks the inertia, creating momentum that makes subsequent steps easier. Emotion amplifies this process, providing the energy and enthusiasm needed to sustain movement. Together, action and emotion create a sense of momentum that propels us toward our goals, making the path to transformation more manageable. The impact of action and emotion extends beyond personal growth and influences the world around us. When we act with passion and purpose, we inspire others to do the same. Our emotions become contagious, spreading positivity and motivation to those we encounter. This ripple effect amplifies the impact of our actions, creating a chain reaction of change. By aligning our actions with our values and infusing them with emotion, we not only transform ourselves but also contribute to the transformation of those around us. One of the most rewarding aspects of combining action and emotion is the sense of alignment it creates. When our actions are driven by emotions that resonate with our core values, we experience a profound sense of fulfillment. This alignment between what we do and how we feel creates a state of flow, where effort feels effortless and progress feels natural. It is in this state of alignment that we achieve our greatest potential, moving through life with purpose and clarity. Action and emotion also help us navigate setbacks and obstacles. No journey of transformation is without its challenges, but how we respond to these challenges determines our trajectory. When faced with difficulties, taking action keeps us moving forward, while positive emotions like hope and resilience keep us motivated. Even in the face of failure, action and emotion provide the tools to persevere. They remind us that every step, no matter how small, brings us closer to our goals. The dynamic interplay of action and emotion highlights the importance of intentionality. To create meaningful change, we must act with purpose and feel with authenticity. This requires self-awareness, the ability to recognize our emotions and align actions with our goals. It also requires a willingness to embrace vulnerability, to act even when we are uncertain, and to feel even when it is uncomfortable. Transformation demands that we engage fully, bringing both our actions and our emotions into alignment with the life we want to create. Through action and emotion, we bridge the gap between who we are and who we aspire to be. Every decision, every step, every feeling contributes to the process of becoming. Transformation is not a single moment or event, it is a continuous journey, shaped by the actions we take and the emotions we cultivate. When we act with intention and feel with purpose, we unlock the power to create a life that reflects our highest potential. This is the essence of lasting change, a harmonious dance between action and emotion that moves us closer to the person we were always meant to be.